The Paws in the Park Couch to 5K training program brought to you by Roper St. Francis Healthcare. I'm here with Kimberly Smith and her pup, Sheba, and we're going to talk about feeding and food. So, Kimberly, tell me, do you feed dry food or wet food?
I generally feed dry food. On special occasions, I might give her some homemade food.
Okay.
And sometimes it might have wet food in, not very often.
Okay. And when you feed her, does she finish her meal right away? Does she leave some of it for later? How's that go?
If it's home cooked food, she eats it within the minute. If it's dry kibble, she'll peruse on it throughout the day.
Got it. And do you do the dry, do you add the wet because you want her to finish it all and sometimes she doesn't? Or kind of give me the idea behind that.
If I add the wet, it's because I'm giving her a pill. I want her to eat all her food.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So the first thing I want to share with our friends out there is really to talk about the type of food, right? So people all the time, I want the best food, I want this food. At the end of the day, the best food is the food that you can afford, right? So as long as it says complete and balanced, it's going to be okay. You want to splurge on your dog, you guys go right ahead. But in my world, the dogs are not paying for the food. If I can afford it, that's the food I'm giving, right? So dry kibble is great in that sense. The second thing is, when do we want to give the dog the food? Preparing for 5K or for the walk, one thing I'm going to encourage you to do is whenever you get her food, especially the dry food, is to actually put it in this treat pouch and use the food on the walk to motivate her to keep walking. Because I know you mentioned, tell me again the issue you have on the walks.
When she gets ready to stop, she just stops. Unless I'm going toward the house, she won't move another step.
Got it. So a great way to fix that is if she hasn't eaten and she's on that walk and you pull that food out and she goes, Mom, I'm not doing it. Then you're gonna go, girlfriend, then you get no food. And then if you go home, she doesn't go home and get it in the bowl, you use it again on the next walk. I'm telling you, she's gonna get on that walk and she's gonna go, oh my goodness, I will jump through a ring of fire, I'm starving. So use the food to your advantage, okay? And then the last thing is, she actually looks really good, but I want everybody at home to know you can do a do-it-yourself test to find out if your dog is overweight. All you have to do, hi sweetheart, is you just take your hands and you gently run them down your dog's side, okay? This is really good. The goal is for us to be able to feel that her ribs exist, but not see them, okay? That's a fine line. So run your hands over her side. I can feel that her ribs exist. So in my mind, that's perfect. If you can't feel the ribs, if your dog's not finishing the meal, if you're free feeding your dog, you're gonna have a hard time motivating them with food. So don't fall into that category. That's why you're doing the 5K walk and run. Of everything I've talked about, Kimberly, is there anything you have a question about?
Does it matter when you feed?
Great question. I'm sure some of you out there are wondering the same thing. If you're going to go out for the walk, if you're practicing the walk, it's great to take the food. If you're gonna go on a run, if you're one of those people out there that are totally die-hard, you don't wanna give a huge meal right before you go for a run, because that would be just like us, right? Eating right before a large workout. So no food or no large meals 2 hours before you're gonna do very strenuous activity. Sounds like you're just in the beginning stages with her on the walk, so I wouldn't worry about that so much, but keep in mind, no large meals 2 hours before you do strenuous exercise. Just remember the bullet points. What kind? The kind that you can afford. If it's complete and balanced, I promise your dog will be okay. How much? General rule of thumb is 1 measuring cup of food per 25 pounds of dog per day. So if your dog weighs 25 pounds, 1 measuring cup of dry food for the entire day is general rule of thumb. If your dog is a different size, different activity level, it can be adjusted. Third one, is your dog overweight? Do the at-home DIY test where you just run your hand down your dog's sides. If you can feel that ribs exist without seeing them, you're in a great spot. You take these tips to heart, preparing for the 5K walk, I guarantee you, you're gonna be successful. We'll see you March 19th at Celebrity Paws in the Park. The Paws in the Park Couch to 5K training program brought to you by Roper St. Francis Healthcare.